Hi, I'd like to show you how to get your chevron blanket started. So I've already chained 61 stitches. That's a pattern repeat of 29 plus 3, but for this example I did 29 2 times and then added 3. I use that so that you can customize the length of the blanket yourself. So in this chevron pattern, 29 stitches is basically 1 peak. So say you want to do a 5 peak blanket, just multiply 29 times 5 and then add 3. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to work single crochet 2 together in starting with the second chain from the hook. So here's the last chain that I made. It's kind of gotten small on me. Let me fix my tension on that one. There we go. Okay, that's the last one I made. Now, in the second chain from the hook, I'm just going to insert my hook and pull up a loop. And then I'm going to go right into the next chain space, insert my hook and pull up a loop. Then I will pull through all 3 loops. That's called single crochet 2 together if you haven't ever seen that before. Now, all I'm going to do is work under this loop of the chains for 13 in the next 13 spaces. All the way, we're working towards the top peak. The yarn I'm using to demonstrate this with is Bernat Roving. So it's a very chunky yarn, not the yarn I have used in my chevron blankets that are the mint and gray and white colors. That is Hobby Lobby. I love this cotton. A much smaller weight of yarn. This is a chunky, and I'm using a big hook, but I thought maybe you could see it better as I'm working along. Here we go. I'm almost to complete my 13th stitch. And right up here in this 14th stitch, and you can tell I've already worked this and then took it out so I could see where to stop. We're going to work 3 single crochets right there, all into the same space. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to work 13 stitches down the next side and head towards that valley where after we work these 13, we will skip over 2 of the chain spaces. So just for this cornrow chevron that I like, cornrow just simply means that you're working into the back loop only, and it just kind of makes those single crochets really stand up and look pronounced. Okay, I might have to stop and count on this one. I want to make sure I'm not doing too many. Okay, so here we go. There's my 3 stitches in the top. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Here's number 12. And here's 13. Okay, I'm skipping over those next 2, and I'm heading over here. We're going back up to the top with 13 single crochet. I don't know why these chevron blankets sometimes are so tricky to get started, but they just are. This is the one thing, your counting just has to be so spot on. And let me tell you, I probably had to suffer through 5 chevron blankets before I ever got one exactly right. Okay, let's do the counting. So here's those 2 I skipped. So here's my first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and I hope that's 13. Let's hope. And then we're going to go, 13, yes. And then there, we're going to put the 3. I've been looking for those ones that just were a little bit pulled out because, like I said, I did this first, so I made sure I had all my counting right. There we go. I've got my 3 single crochets right there in the peak. Now we're on the downward, down to the valley, except this time we'll be at the end of the blanket. And When we get done with 13, we should have 2 left over. And that mimics the first 2 that we started with. Okay, and those last 2 stitches we will be single crocheting 2 together. And just to make sure, I will count this just one more time. Make sure we have our 13. So here's our 3 at the top. Let's start counting in the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And we've got 2 left over. So we're simply going to insert our hook, pull up a loop, insert our hook, pull up a loop, and pull it all through. We're going to chain 1 and turn. And now let's get this going. Back loop only. So you're going to have to come down here, kind of turn your work over, do those first 2 stitches, and now we're just going to work our way right back up to the top. Okay, well, I really hope there's not, I'm not going to do anything different than I just did, except for now, obviously, we're working into the back loop of these single crochets. And so when I get to the top, it'll work out that 13 stitches took me straight up to that middle stitch. And in that middle stitch, I'm going to do 3 single crochet, head right back down with 13 single crochet on the side, skip over the bottom 2, head right back up. And then when you get to the end, you'll notice that you have 2 left over, and you'll just put those together. Here we are, right here at the top. I'm going to work 3 single crochets. So I hope that's given you a really good idea. See, eventually, the reason why you do that is because you want this side of this blanket to go straight. You don't want it to keep going out that way. So this is my giant chevron. I love the deep peaks. That's why I just kind of had to tweak chevron patterns that I'd been seeing, because I really wanted mine to be a little bit deeper valleys. And boy, you sure get that when you use chunky yarn. Okay, thanks for coming to my blog. I'm really appreciative of everybody that leaves me comments and are just so kind, and I'm just so happy that you love what I'm making. All right, have a good day.